Welcome to the I Speak Fundy Biosphere series. We want to become more fluent when speaking about the Fundy Biosphere. In this series, we'll be covering everything from the sciences of ecology and forestry to climate action and even hiking, exploring, and tourism. Join us as together we learn how truly special the Fundy Biosphere is. Alrighty, welcome to the Fundy Biosphere I Speak series. I'm Ben Cummings, your host and the PR guy for the Fundy Biosphere. And today I have with me Mike Carpenter, the co-owner of Red Rock Adventure and actually the chair of the Fundy Biosphere Reserve board. How you doing, Mike?
Good, Ben. How are you doing? I'm glad to be here.
I'm doing awesome. So I'm actually really excited to talk to you because I've worked in tourism a little bit, trying to help different tourism organizations and stuff like that. So why don't you tell me about Red Rock Adventure, how it got started and how you got started doing it?
Yeah, for sure. Red Rock Adventure, we've been open since 2014, and we started basically, we started as a youth wilderness adventure company. So we were really doing youth wilderness trips for students, and then we evolved and started to realize that there was more potential, or as much as potential, doing tourism activities as well. So instead of being a kind of one-trick pony, we decided to diversify kind of what we did. So our company basically is split up into four pillars, and one being adventure, one being outdoor education, culinary, and then travel trade. So each of those things have a bunch of kind of activities and experiences we offer within those four pillars.
Now, where are you based out of for people who don't know?
So Red Rock Adventure, we have a base in St. Martin's, which is just a little ways outside St. John on the far reaches of the Biosphere Reserve. And we have a cafe called the Shipyard Cafe, and our adventure shop located right next to the wharf near the covered bridges in St. Martin's.
What are some of the things that people can come do? I know that winter is usually the slow time for tourism. So coming into summer now, what are some of the things that people can look forward to?
Yeah, our biggest, kind of everyday thing that we do is we do a 2.5-hour guided sea kayaking trip into the St. Martin Sea Caves. So amazing place number 2 on the Biosphere, just to throw that plug in there. We take people, and it's kind of the high tide experience at the sea caves. At low tide, you can go out and walk there on the ocean floor, and at high tide, we take double kayaks, you're guided, and you have an experience out there where we tour around the caves. There's actually about 8 caves most people aren't aware of. And then we stop on one of the beaches and have a cool little snack and relax, and then we paddle back. So that's kind of our everyday activity. And then we offer a scenic boat tour on a Zodiac style, kind of rigid inflatable boat, where we go from the St. Martin's Harbor up to Big Salmon River and back. And it's just that scenic viewing for a longer trip to see more of the coastline.
That'll be beautiful. That'll be something I'm definitely looking forward to this summer.
Yeah, it's great for people that love cameras,
which I definitely do. If anybody's seen the content that I put out, I love taking pictures and videos. So it'll be awesome to share that this summer. But stepping away from Red Rock Adventure, what is some of the tourism benefits or even maybe detriments that you've seen across the Fundy Biosphere or maybe across the province?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think tourism is a great avenue to educate people about where we live and the beautiful landscapes we have and the environment that we're in. So we don't use this as we don't go out and preach on how people should act, but I think taking people out to these beautiful places and these unique locations, people get a sense of how special it is, and they want to see them clean, and I think that's great. So there is overuse of places. I think this year actually highlighted a lot of that a lot of the beaches and trails that maybe didn't get a lot of use got a lot of use this year, because people are really into nature and getting out into the open air spaces. And 99% of people are really, really good about it, but there's always some people that leave trash or whatever and overuse places. If there's campsites designated and they might build more campsites just to fit their tent there. And I think that's just a more education needs to be kind of given, and people get out and they want to appreciate these places for the right reasons. They understand why they have to do certain things.
What's the best way you see, or maybe there isn't one, or maybe there's some ideas that we could look forward to educate people? Because I perceive hiking and outdoor exploration is more solo, or people will go in couples and stuff. How do you educate people that way when they're going out by themselves?
Yeah, I think one thing we try to do just as a company on our level, as you know, with Red Rock Adventure, is when we go out to these places and we always run into other people, we try to lead by example, and we try to make sure that we're cleaning up places. And sometimes we will go that extra mile and clean up places over and above the mess that we left. And people see that, and you might talk to them, and they see you lugging out garbage, and they you know, it makes them not want to leave garbage there, and they might do that next time. And it might not hit with everybody, but if one person out of 5 says, hey, geez, like, let's pick up this, you know, clean up this campsite, then it's going to be nice for the next person. And it's those little pieces, right?
Yeah, and I know the mantra that I've even heard for years, I think even since I was a little kid, was leave no trace. Like, if you take something in, you take it out with you, and you want to have the minimal impact that you can on the ecology around you. So what do you feel that the biggest draw to the Fundy Biosphere specifically, let's narrow it down a little bit. What's the biggest draw, either visually or things that people can do around the area?
Well, it's just the fact that, you know, this is the longest stretch of wilderness coastline on the eastern seaboard. That's unique. Like, from Florida to Newfoundland, we live in a very unique area and have this beautiful stretch of coastline that is relatively untouched. You know, obviously there's parks and there's things like that being developed, but it's that, and about people realizing that we're actually in 2 UNESCO designated areas. So we have the Fundy Biosphere Reserve that runs from Sackville down to, you know, just past St. Martin's. And then we have the Stonehammer Geopark, which is another UNESCO designated area based on geology. And St. Martin's actually overlaps 2 UNESCO designated places, which, to be honest, I tell all my guests that there's no place like that in the world. You know, that might be a little bit of a guide lie. I haven't done the total research, but I can't imagine that there's a lot of places like that. And we as locals kind of take that for granted. We don't really understand that. And that is unique to the world, and we need to be proud of that.
It was something that took me driving across the country. And I remember getting to BC and just like, oh, these forests, these trees are so beautiful. And then by the time I came home, I was like, oh, we have this. I just never noticed it before because I grew up here and just didn't care, I guess.
Totally. Yeah.
So what are some struggles, especially the last year, like things have changed so different with COVID. What are some struggles you've seen advertising, or even historically advertising the tourism industry?
Well, it's always like, you know, so you want to be able to be honest, the hardest thing to sell is the tides. The reason people come here is because we have the highest tides in the world, and that's not an easy thing to market. And so it really takes some face-to-face talking and explaining and videos and photos to really show that. And once you get people out and actually experience, they get blown away. But that's a tough piece. And people, you know, and I'm talking, we market outside of New Brunswick. We market to places around the world. And I don't think we realize how unique New Brunswick is as far as an off the beaten path destination, and how close we are to some major markets that are looking for this type of location. But we have to get out and let them know that it's here. We need some, you know, some awesome, you know, media that goes out, you know, and highlights this, videos and photos, and then you can sell how beautiful our area is. And we are competitive with places like some of the, you know, biggest travel locations in the world. People want to come here. They just don't necessarily know about us yet.
Yeah. And I think historically, even New Brunswick has sort of been passive aggressively known as the pass-through province, that people pass through New Brunswick to get to Nova Scotia or to go on to Newfoundland. But I think it's something that even in the last year or year and a half that we've really seen that Tourism New Brunswick has stepped their game up, and they're producing a lot of content to, like you say, show off how beautiful our province actually is, and the amount of things from fishing and boating and the incredible hikes that you can go on across the province that are just breathtaking, quite frankly.
Totally. And I think we relate to the game with tourism as far as New Brunswick. But we're obviously here now, and it's about the rest of the world knowing that you don't, like, there's a lot to do on your way to Nova Scotia or PEI. And if you want to come and do a real maritime vacation, spend a week in each province.
Yeah.
Don't spend 2 days here and go for 2 days. You need time in all these locations to really get to know what it's about and what's cool about living here.
Now, we've talked around it quite a bit. So do you have any favorite places? I don't know if you can pick the Fundy Coast. That might be cheating. Do you have any favorite places in the Fundy Biosphere that you like to visit, hike, explore, stuff like that?
100%. And there's a lot of them. I would say just because it's close to where I live, amazing place number one, which is Aquaco Head Lighthouse. If you want a place to go and really see the power of the Bay of Fundy and see the tides really in action, on an outgoing tide, you can get a class 5 river flowing around that, and it's very powerful to watch. And it's so that's a really close, easy one to get to. Obviously, I'm biased to the sea caves, and I've spent a lot of time there. But it's funny, I've been guiding out there over 20 years, and I don't get sick of that paddle. It's still unique. The bay and the ocean really make it a really cool spot to be every day. But then I love backpacking on the footpath. The footpath and that area is so amazing and rugged, and you feel like it's a real piece of wilderness. But I'm a sea kayaker at heart. Paddling up that coast and getting that different viewpoint from a boat is something that most people haven't seen. They see it all from land, but the view of our coastline from the water is so much better. And I think that's something that every section of that coast is amazing to me from the water.
Yeah, I remember hiking the Fundy footpath for the first time, and just even walking along the coast, because we often cheat. We do the river hopping, or beach hopping, I guess it's called. And just seeing the coast from those different viewpoints, not just your half-hour hike in or half-hour hike out. It was just breathtaking. So I can only imagine what this summer, I hope we can do it, what sea kayaking will be like. So just as we wrap up, what are any tips or tricks? We're coming into tourism season. What are some things that people should know?
Well, I would think that, if last year showed us anything, that we need to start thinking about going and visiting some of these places midweek. We're New Brunswickers traveling last year and this year, and we have limited holidays, and weekends are when we go out and do things, but everyone's out on the weekend. So a tip from me would be take a day off midweek and go do something and really kind of experience it, with a few less people. We're still in New Brunswick. These places aren't overcrowded, but just, I think there's some real opportunity to do stuff midweek that you're going to see a lot less people than the weekends. So
yeah, I think a raw staycation, there's something about going to a place where there's typically a lot of people, but then being there when it's silent and maybe there's only one or two people, to be able to truly experience the nature.
You can do that along our coast. You can get out in some of these trails and not see anybody. You could hike the footpath midweek and maybe not see anybody. Yeah. And that's what the beauty of this coastline is there's some hot spots that get busy, but you can get away from those if you're willing to hike a little bit. Yeah.
And some that almost should be bigger tourist attractions than like the flower pot rocks and stuff like that, where you're just like, do you not see this? Have people not been here? And maybe it's because it's an hour hike in that people don't go to it, but they can be so much more beautiful.
Totally. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Where can people find out more either about you or about Red Rock Adventure?
Yeah, the easiest way is to check out our website at bayoffundyadventures.com, and you can get a full kind of view of what we do, and there's some cool photos and videos, and if you're looking to book any of our experiences, you can do it right online there.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. If you are looking for a tourism destination, I would highly recommend it. I'm definitely looking forward to the sea kayaking and everything this summer. I'm super stoked. Thanks for joining us, Mike.
Thanks, Ben. We appreciate it.
For more information about the Fundy Biosphere or to contact us, you can find us on social media or visit us at fundy-biosphere.ca.